I find that a lot of modern bodies are breaking at the same spot, which is very unnatural. Sitting like this is very unnatural, for example. It extends the abdomen and flattens the lower back and makes you kind of slump over. And if you add typing or driving along, you get this little praying mantis look, and you're staring at your shoes, so you tilt it up, and that's really attractive. So what I like to do is try to get people to sit back and roll their backs back into a proper position and using their back muscles to support their torso, as opposed to hanging at all the upper traps. It's a very common misalignment right there in the base of the neck, and if you hang your weight off your neck like you tied your shoes together and just hung them forward, it usually causes a lovely misalignment, which gets all the muscles around it to splint that area by contracting. And that's like clenching your fists on the nerves and the blood supply coming out of that joint. And right at the base of the neck is where the nerve and blood supply runs down the arm and into the hands. And so a lot of carpal tunnel and a lot of external issues stem from a simple misalignment in the neck. So one of my favorite moves is to begin by supporting the misalignment of the neck, and then once those muscles begin to release, you can start to strip down from that vertebrae all the way down to the hand. By the time you get to the hand, the joints are extending and popping and cracking all over because you're lengthening all of those interconnected muscles all the way down from the neck. And part of that is trying to support a joint while torquing, say, the forearm, to get the play in there, the same way you would torque your hand or your feet and try and get into all those little tiny muscles. And so we're going to show how to strip that out. And if you do it in a way that's conducive with your client and they let go, then you have a sensation like you're just pulling tension right out of their arm, and they usually are very vocal about that. I have to admit that after 20 years of dealing with lay people who have not memorized every muscle attachment and bone in the human body, and as far as the Latin goes, I've misplaced a lot of my Latin because I've spent 2 decades pointing to places and putting my hands on people and going, this muscle runs from here down to there and attaches into there, and they go, oh, that's great. Whereas if I throw Latin at them, they look at me more like a medical person. So over the years, I've gotten a very casual approach towards massage, and it seems to help in opening people up. And since it is out of scope for people to talk and open up to a massage therapist, out of the scope of our responsibilities, I've had to add a certification for holistic life coaching, which allows me to draw people out vocally and take a more holistic approach towards their tension and stress, which I believe is the main benefit of the techniques that I use, try to actually help people. I know, working myself out of a job, but I think that's everyone's responsibility. You could be physically tight because you don't like your job, or because you are insane. And these aren't necessarily physical issues, but they become that way, and you can get that muscle to release, but if you don't approach the source, you'll never get true relief. And I don't have enough hours in a day to have all of my clients keep coming back frequently. So it's best that they do some homework and start healing themselves, so they can just come to me for to be defined, to be redefined. Which does bring up a point. The Esalen massage, which is what my technique is based on, is a cross between Swedish and Shiatsu. So you get the physical manipulation of the muscle on top of a more subtle, comprehensive understanding of energy. The basis of Esalen massage is that you are defining, you're a definer. They were very hesitant in allowing us to label what it was that we were doing in school because it sort of limits your role. If you must label yourself, then call yourself a definer, because when you get a full body massage, especially with the Esalen massage, which connects every system together, and you end up with this feeling of being whole, you actually feel where your body stops and the rest of the world begins. And it defines your true body as opposed to what you are hoping you look like or try to make yourself look like in the mirror. And it makes you accept it too. I mean, you feel all your extra weight or your asymmetry, but it's not a negative thing. It's objective as opposed to subjective, and that break in itself is worth the cash.